The Baltimore Ravens showed an absolute offensive explosion against the Detroit Lions and pulled out a win over the Cardinals, and everything has just been working on all cylinders for this team. Head coach John Harbaugh gave offensive coordinator Todd Monken a game ball and Lamar Jackson a Lion spike. The spike has been handed out after each win this season, given to the player who finished off the challenger. It was especially appropriate this week given the opponent, but the only issue was Jackson and the Ravens offense basically finished the Lions off before halftime. It was a slaughter. It was wall to wall from beginning to end, Harbaugh said. Anyways, I think most people expected the Ravens to be pretty good this season, but I don't think anyone expected this team to be able to beat a 5-1 team by 32 points, and they have been scoring a ton. In this video, I'm going to be talking all about how the Ravens have been so dominant and what they need to do to keep this up. But before I begin, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. Also, follow me on Instagram too, because I have recently been posting so much content on there, and your guys' support truly means the world. Alright, so where do we even start? I guess it has to be with Lamar Jackson, who has shown improvement this season in literally every aspect of the game. We all know that he's the best rushing QB in the league, but he's really improved his accuracy and also his decision making. Right now, he's playing at an MVP level and has the highest graded passer rating in the entire NFL. This is an offense that is ranked 9th in the league with weapons all over the place, and if you've been paying attention, there's been rumors that are starting to heat up about Derrick Henry, even though the Titans said they won't trade him. And also guys like Alvin Kamara and even Javonte Williams. And if this team can bring any of those guys in, then it's literally wraps for opposing defenses. Anyways, recapping the recent win over the Arizona Cardinals, this was a game that was close on the scoreboard, but felt like the Ravens had control of the whole time. Josh Dobbs scored the first touchdown of the game with his legs, and Lamar followed that up with a throw to Mark Andrews up the middle to tie things up. Gus Edwards then rushed for 2 straight touchdowns to take control of the game. From there, the Cardinals just scratched and clawed their way back into it, but Gus Edwards shut down any hopes they had of winning with another touchdown in the 4th. Lamar finished the game with 157 yards and 1 touchdown, which obviously isn't anything spectacular, but the story of this game was how Baltimore pounded the rock on the ground. And like I said, Gus Johnson had 3 touchdowns, but there were also a lot of guys that got involved in the running game. This roster really just has so much talent from top to bottom, and they did a great job this offseason and really over the last few years of bringing in and developing talent to make sure that Lamar had as many weapons around him as possible. This offseason, the big move they made was bringing in Odell Beckham Jr., and even though he hasn't done too much yet, he's still a big name in the mix of all the receivers they have that defenses have to worry about. I know the Ravens win over the Arizona Cardinals wasn't pretty, but in the NFL, a win is a win, and anyone will take those in any way, shape, or fashion. And at the end of the day, even the worst teams in the league still consist of the top players in the world, and we saw the Cowboys lose to this team the other week. Anyways, switching over to the defensive side of things, there were definitely a few standouts for Baltimore, but one guy that was an absolute wrecking ball was Michael Pierce, who had a strip sack on Josh Dobbs for a major loss, a batted down ball on 4th down, and back-to-back plays that put the Cardinals in reverse. In the postgame, Coach Harbaugh said, "Pierce was dominant. He just took over the game inside." Another few guys that I have to mention are Geno Stone and Brandon Stephens. Those two are putting together quite a season, even though it's still super early, and Stone leads the NFL in interceptions with 5, and his instincts are leading to game-changing plays. Also, as I mentioned earlier with Gus Edwards, running the ball has remained key for Baltimore's early success. Whether it has been from Lamar or from the RBs, it's been tough for defenses to stop the run and also worry about Jackson's improved passing ability. According to Gus Edwards, the Ravens are getting great push and guys were holding onto their blocks and the holes were huge. And like I've been saying this whole video, literally everyone on the offense has been contributing. Even OBJ, who had no catches, drew 3 pass interference penalties that put the Ravens in position to score. Also, Mark Andrews caught his 40th career touchdown pass in the 1st quarter, moving him 1 shy of Todd Heap's franchise record for most career touchdown receptions. Even at tight end, Andrews has really made his presence felt in the receiving game throughout his whole career, and he normally is one of, if not the #1 target on the team. As we look ahead in the schedule, the Ravens are really about to get tested with upcoming games against Seattle, Cleveland, the Bengals, and Chargers. We've already seen that this team is good, but we're really going to find out what they're all about because this is the first real test and the first time they will probably face adversity. If you're a Ravens fan, this is probably about as good of a start to the season as you could have hoped for after a big offseason in which nobody even really knew exactly what was going to happen with Lamar Jackson. One last thing I want to talk about a little bit more is those trade targets that I mentioned mentioned earlier, because it is getting to be about that time, and even though Gus Edwards went off, you can always use more firepower in that backfield. So I already talked about the big dogs that this team could trade for, so now I'm going to focus on the more realistic ones, starting off with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's a guy that the Chiefs really haven't used at this point in the season, and with Isaiah Pacheco pretty much taking over the backfield, he's a guy that the Ravens could get for a cheap price, and I still think he has some untapped potential. Anyways, the next guy is Zach Moss, who averaged over 4 yards a carry during the absence of Jonathan Taylor, and now that he is back, I think he's a guy that a lot of teams are looking at, and he and Edwards would make a solid 1-2 punch. That's really all I have to say for this video. Let me know in the comments below who you would like to see the Ravens trade for, if anyone, and also what you think about what you've seen from this team through 8 games. Thank you all so much if you made it to this point in the video, and if you enjoyed and haven't yet, make sure to drop a like and subscribe, because your support truly means the world. And also, one more thing, please follow me on Instagram, because I'm starting to post a lot of content on there. But anyways, until next time, I will see you all later.